as you pointed out, the Federal Reserve Bank is the American arm, the central bank of the United States, the American arm of something called the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland, and it exists in violation of this document, which is the law. And I think to answer your question quickly, the reason the government does not enforce the law is because the government is controlled by the bank. The government borrows money from a private bank. It doesn't borrow money as stated in Article 1, Section 8, that's created by and controlled by the Congress of the United States. It's the other way around. It's the Federal Reserve Bank which dictates to the president, and it's the Federal Reserve Bank that dictates to the Congress and the Pentagon because they control the money. It's a Rothschild banking cartel, and the Rothschilds have been in control for hundreds of years, and as one of the most famous Rothschilds stated, it can be control of a nation's wealth, and I care not who makes the laws, because the people who control the money control the government, and they control the media, and they control the minds, and it's as simple as that. It's unlawful and it's illegal, but the government borrows money from the private central banks.
The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice.
Iraq actually is a perfect example of the way the whole system works. So we economic hitmen are the first line of defense. We go in, we try to corrupt governments and get them to accept these huge loans, which we then use as leverage to basically own them. If we fail, as I failed in Panama with Omar Torrijos and in Ecuador with Jaime Roldos, men who refuse to be corrupted, then the second line of defense is we send in the jackals, and the jackals either overthrow governments or they assassinate. And once that happens and a new government comes in, and boy, it's going to toe the line because the new president knows what will happen if he doesn't.
Sweltering with the heat of oppression will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream.
The majority of the people in the United States have no idea that we're living off the benefits of a clandestine empire, that today there's more slavery in the world than ever before.
To further prepare for global domination, the secret U.S. government, led by the corrupt holders of the Ark, also known as the Illuminati, or the New Global Union, or the New World Order, or just plain Nazis using the Eye of Lucifer as their symbol.
Who are being enslaved on this planet and forced into a paradigm of a super oligarchy that favors the Bilderberg Group and the Illuminati.
Let's put it this way: money trumps peace sometimes.
NASA is a pack of liars that was founded by Freemasons.
Freemasons.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it's because the way they take the pic, they got an explanation. And they admit they're all CGI.
But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being.
Okay, gravity is a theory. theory to you say that it's the magic of gravity that keeps the atmosphere.
Not magic. There's no magic of gravity at all.
It's by far the most valuable, important place left in the world for science. That's why the scientific groups all over the nation are really interested. But more important than that, it has to do with the future of the nation, those to come after us, or even during your lifetime. Because it happens to be an untouched reservoir of natural resources. The South Pole, the center of a plateau, 10,000 feet high.
Out where the facts lead you, because the more you begin to investigate what we think we understand, where we came from, what we think we're doing, the more you begin to see we've been lied to. We've been lied to by every institution.
Even by standard science, okay, so you have these radiation barriers about, 1,000 or 3,000 miles above the surface called the Van Allen radiation belts.
Yes, I'm very familiar with those, John.
Okay. Yeah, they had just been discovered, and they were still being sort of scrutinized and debated when the Apollo missions were launched. And so, you could argue that it's irresponsible of NASA that they didn't include any sort of radiation shielding because Van Allen did warn them about the radiation.
We'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
And this blue stuff is like the ocean. And this boat, well, it's like a boat. Anyway, watch. As ships sail away, they don't disappear all at once. No, first, the bottom will disappear. See, the bottom of the ship is gone. Now we can see midway up, and then the whole thing disappears. Now, ships came back. They didn't fall off a table. So people realized that the world is curved. I mean, it's a big curve, but it's curved. So, the process of testing claims, the world is flat, the world is round, is what we call science.
Are you going to respond to the fact that Columbus was aware the Earth was round? He watched masts of ships appear before the ships appeared. That's what happens on a spherical globe, John.
That's a fallacy.
Good one. Oh, good one.
That is a fallacy. We have excellent.
No, it's not. It's observed fact. Go out on a boat and you'll see it for yourself.
Obviously, they're going to see the mast first, John. Of course they are.
The old wives' tale is that when a ship travels away from you, as it goes beyond the horizon, you're supposed to be able to see the bottom sort of travel away from you last. But if you actually look at a ship that travels beyond the horizon with a telescope, you'll see that it is actually just perfectly perpendicular to the horizon. It just sort of seems to go behind the horizon because that's how the laws of perspective work.
John. No. You see the mast disappear last.
Have you looked at the pictures or the videos, Doctor?
I've seen this myself. Isaac Newton taught us what gravity is, and we now understand it in
Isaac Newton's
glorious detail.
Okay, hold on. Now, first of all, gravity was theorized in order to account for the fact that we're not flung from the spinning Earth at 1,000 miles per hour towards the east near the equator. Okay, gravity is a theory to prove the globe model.
Now, explain gravity.
Gravity. So gravity is a total subterfuge of the natural laws of density. So people want you to believe that before Isaac Newton lived and an apple dropped on his head, nobody in the world had ever thought of or been able to explain why stuff falls down. The reason that objects fall down is because they are denser than the medium that they are in. And the reason that an object would rise up is because that object is less dense than the medium it is in.